Hello and welcome to Monday, Levremembers, the Insider Report. Welcome everybody. Let's give it a few seconds and have some more as people are joining in. Smash those hearts. Welcome to everybody. Octavia, Evelyn, Tali, hi all. Welcome Washington State, Ottawa in the house. Hey Kate, welcome Charlene. Cheryl, I just saw you guys in the other show. We had an incredible show. Before we get started, I just want to do a quick shout out to we had some incredible two guests, Kate Justice and Cliff Schechter. Folks, those of you that didn't get a chance to see it, I will be putting it out later on. It'll be coming on YouTube also. I'll be putting it on YouTube. And also for those of you that missed it on Substack, it'll be going out later on today. But it was a different show because we speak about the same old names all the time, but this was different. This is about, I think we're connecting some dots that are going to be extremely important because the name Bill Barr, I've been talking about for many, many years now, that he's a person that is much more involved in a lot of the things that we're seeing play out. I also was involved with being one of in the group that basically got Bill Barr his job because of his relationship with Victoria Tungsten and Jody Genova at the time. And basically at that time, it was to save the Mueller report. And I knew very little about who Bill Barr was and about his history. But through the Epstein report files that are coming out and through, other leaks. And now with the great work that Kate has been doing, we've been finding out that Bill Barr's father, Donald Barr, Bill Barr worked for the CIA, which we were never aware of. And Donald Barr, his father, was involved with recruiting kids, out of, because I know one of the connections we all talk about is Donald Barr, Bill Barr's father, gave Epstein a job at the Dalton School, if you remember. So without going too deep into it, it's just fascinating conversation. For those of you that missed part one, because we are going to have a part two, so stay tuned. I'll let you know this week, the next probably day or two, we will have a part two and maybe even a part three because there's just so much to uncover about and it goes back way back and also connects a lot of dots, and it has to do with a lot of insider reporting, not only that Kate's doing from the Epstein files, but Cliff actually went to school with some of these people during some of those days, and is the stories that he started telling and the hearing is just mind-blowing. And then connecting, for me, it was incredible to listen to because it opened my eyes and connected dots in my head because I have my own relationship with Bill Barr and the Trump administration, and how, so to hear that and for all of us to be able to connect it, I think it's something extremely important. And the more and more I keep saying it, the more and more I'm going to say that I truly believe Bill Barr has a lot more to do with a lot that's going on, especially now knowing that he was a part of the CIA for so many years. Because I could tell you folks, knowing the way the CIA operates, from my own personal experience, from being involved, not only my own personal arrest, but also from being inside Trump's administration, watching both sides of the thing. I could tell you there's a lot that goes on, that we as American citizens have no idea what our government is capable, what they do, and not just in other countries, but here in our own country, to protect secrets, to protect high important people. And that's why I just want to say to you, a great show. But now that we have more people that join, let's start our show and let's talk about some of the important things that we're going to talk about today. The first thing I want to start off on is the breaking news that basically broke within the past hour. Something that we've been basically talking about here on Levremembers already for a while. For a while, when I say the past 4 days since Friday, something that was very important and very disturbing at the same time. It was the accusations about Eric Swalwell, about him assaulting and raping young interns. A lot of people were not happy because when it happens to somebody that or you like, you try to give them the benefit of the doubt. but the information was not only overwhelming. A lot of people are saying Tony Gonzalez is also resigning. I cannot confirm that yet. I have not seen that. I just got off one live. As soon as I can confirm it, that would be great news. Shouldn't even be an issue. And there's, I think, a third person also that is supposed to be getting expelled. But not only that, I just want to say to you that I've been also speaking with people on the inside. I'm also going to Washington D.C. For those of you who know that this week, and this is going to be also something now that I'm going to add to my list of things to talk about. These congressional people is, you saw it, Julie. It was confirmed. Okay, so great. I'll take your word for it. A lot of you are saying that Gonzalez has also resigned. So that is, again, great news because we need to get them out of office. But the fact that basically he waited this long to resign because it's basically now Swalwell will resign. Now he's resigning. We need to clean house. This is another example of the enablers that Trump has in office. This is another example of people sitting that are protecting all of this craziness. Because, folks, I want to take a second and talk to you really, from the heart a little bit. Because, I have daughters. I have a wife. My mother, may she rest in peace, passed away. I have an incredible sister that you guys know that's out here. You guys, everybody has somebody that they love, and a female, and to see the what's been going on in a lot of these powerful places, what the Epstein files has opened up to a lot of us. Somebody said, I'm sorry to interrupt, but somebody asked, why are you giving Michael Cohen a free pass? Michelle, I am definitely, I definitely am not giving Michael Cohen a free pass. So I think it was a mistake. I think you might have missed my shows, but Michael Cohen is on our list to be able to be, what's it called, subpoenaed with Michael Wolff. So I apologize. But getting back to Swalwell and Gonzalez and all of this, what pisses me off more, I think, than even the fact that they did it, and it's hard to imagine that something could piss you off even more than the fact that these pedophiles is, folks, I really want to say is the enablers. I keep talking about the enablers, and this is such a powerful thing that this is why I want to talk to you guys about. And this is where we all begin, because when we talk about enablers, we talk about the people that allow predators. And it doesn't matter if pedophilia, it doesn't matter if abuse of women, abuse of boys, abuse of it doesn't matter. Predators. I'm just going to call them predators. The only reason predators could succeed is because predators are enabled, because people look the other way, because people choose power over truth, because people decide that it's not them. It's easy for them to turn around and say, I'm not the one doing it. I'm not a part of that. That has to stop. Because the reason why we're seeing the Eric Swalwells come out right now, the reason we hear about the Tony Gonzalez's coming out, the reason we have a president that is a 34 count indicted criminal, sexually adjudicated sexual predator, president of the United States, folks. Why? Is because of all of the cover-ups, all of the people that look the other way. Because the first thing when the Eric Swalwell story broke, folks, the first thing is people were looking at it as a political. A lot of people looked at it as a political thing, but a lot of people started coming out, and what we're hearing more and more every day is that people heard there was rumors. People were talking about. This is not, and slam those hearts, folks, because this is very important. We're going to talk about a lot of things, so we're just getting started. This is the inside report. We're not just talking about the news. We're going to be talking about what I've been working with my sources during the days and what I'm hearing, give you my opinion from my own personal experience in this. So this is important stuff because we're not only going to talk about Eric Swalwell, we're going to talk about Iran, what's happening with Iran. We're going to talk about what's happening with Viktor Orban. We're going to talk about Trump's incredible meltdown last night. Truth socials through the night, and the blowback with what's happening inside with his fight with the Pope. So there's a lot of things happening. And one of the important things we're also going to talk about is that, and a lot of people in the media won't talk about, is that Pam Bondi is no longer scheduled to be to testify, which is, I think, tomorrow, the 14th, which she was supposed to be testifying on. So we have a full plate today, but I really want to continue first with the breaking news about what's going on, because I think a lot of it connects to why we're seeing in the Epstein files, the cover-ups, what we're seeing play out right now. It doesn't matter, and I keep saying that it doesn't matter if it's Democrat, doesn't matter if it's Republican, doesn't matter if it's black, white, Spanish, Jewish, Catholic, doesn't matter, folks. The one thing we should all be able to agree, unless you are a predator yourself, is that we should not stand for it, and there's no excuse for it. We should not doubt why the timing. When I saw certain people come out and say, "Lev, how dare you attack Eric Swalwell? Look at the timing. This has to do with Roger Stone." I looked at people. I said to her, how can you say that? Did you read the article? Did you watch the CNN report? You might not like CNN. You might not like the San Francisco Chronicle, but they're still news agencies. And trust me when I tell you, they don't write a story like about Eric Swalwell, a sitting congressman running for the governor, overnight. They have to go through rigorous what's it called, due diligence, especially nowadays, to get sued so easily on a story like that. And that story did not come overnight. They've been working on that story for months. So for months there have been already rumors and talking about it. People are saying it, we've been hearing it. So you have to understand that we have to say at some point enough is enough with this. That we have to put this, and I spoke about this a little bit on one of my lives earlier. I don't remember who was it with, but I said, we are literally forgetting, what Donald Trump and what Project 2025 and all of this cover up with the Epstein and all of this is happening, how women rights are just being destroyed completely, from taking away their medical rights, to taking the right to be able to have abortion, to to now to be able, we they have to be scared to come out and talk about powerful people because it might not fit somebody's story, doesn't fit into somebody. No, we don't do that. We have to stop that, because it makes us no better than them, makes us no better than the same people, Donald Trump. So I just want to say that. And I want to say that Eric Swalwell now is no longer, in office. He is now, let him go, deal with, because he has a lot of criminal charges that are going to be coming out of this. This is not over, folks. This is just the beginning, because this is how things like this start. I mean, from my own personal experience, the Daily Beast actually did an article about me. And when they did that article, after that article, then there was an FEC complaint. Then after the FEC complaint came a criminal FBI investigation, and so on and so on. So you're seeing the same thing play out. First, you had some powerful women that had to make a decision and stood up and were strong enough to be able to stand up and say enough is enough. We're gonna tell the truth. And it wasn't one, there were four. Think about it. Think about it. And the one thing I want to say to everybody, because I always say it, we just said it, it's not what we know about that we should be worried about. It's what we don't know about. Think about how many more that we don't know about. You think this is the ending? That's why I want to say, and that's why I want to make it very clear that we will not stand on this platform If you are my subscriber, if you are my follower, if you are with me, know one thing, that we will not bow down and look the other way ever. Because the one thing that I've been fighting for since the day of my arrest and since my transformation is speaking truth to power. And that's the hardest thing that a lot of people don't realize how hard it is to do. How hard it is to be able to speak to a person more powerful than you. And that's why some people when the people that turn around and say, well, maybe he wasn't criminal, maybe he cheated on his wife, him and his wife as a folks, that's all good and dandy. But when you take a powerful person, a congressman, a sitting congressman, a sitting CEO of a company, uh, I mean, you name it. When you take those powerful individuals and then you have young interns straight out of college that are looking up to these people, that are trying to, get through, and you take advantage, you know, listening to some of the, story, I could even see how these people do it. It's like it's disgusting. So I do not feel bad for Eric Swalwell or Tony Gonzalez, or you know what? I love a lot of other people that I have a lot of explaining to do, because they are shitting bricks that I don't get into Congress, because this is one of the things, because I want to know who knew. Do you want to tell me that Eric Swalwell, Tony Gonzalez, all of these people was going on, all of these staffers were being assaulted, all of these rumors were being talked about, these conversations, people coming out saying that we've heard, we've listened, we know. Who knew? I want to know who knew. I want to know who heard the rumors and then report them. I want to know who heard the rumors and continued supporting him, because they're just as liable, folks. And I'm sorry about that. I'm saying to you, but that's why it doesn't matter. Both Republicans and Democrats have a lot of explaining to do, because what I'm hearing from sources, that this is the tip of the iceberg, and not just with Eric Swalwell, folks. There's a lot of disgusting, nasty, perverted stuff happening up on the Hill. I'm hearing that they have a thing called the cages. Yes, folks, the cages downstairs, where staffers have sex with Congress people, or Congress people have sex with staffers. Just think about that. Think about how many of these stories we don't know. How many of these young staffers never come out and even say something? How many of these just think about all of this that's happening? It's not about Republicans or Democrats. It's on both sides. Doesn't matter. These are all people. This shit has to stop. Enough is enough of this. This is why we're dealing with the Epstein stuff. This is exactly what we're dealing with. This is why they're covering the Epstein files. This is why they're doing all of this, is because everybody in the Epstein files are powerful people. It's not the plain person. It's not the guy in the corner selling newspapers. It's the Howard Lutnicks of the world that run Cantor Fitzgerald. So I take it very personal, and I want to say, and thank God that he did retire, that he left office today, because I want to read some. Let's just read some of this statements and break it down through the statements to understand what the past several days have been done. Because uh, me just talking about doesn't give it justice. So first of all, I want to read a statement from the when Swalwell came out. He didn't come out and say, I'm gonna tell you the truth, or I'm gonna have a press conference, or I'm gonna take time. But he came out, and the first thing he did, and that's what pissed me off about him, is he sent these women, he sent them cease and desist letters. He went on TV accusing them of lying. His lawyer went on TV saying that we're investigating. He made a video coming out and saying that basically he's going to take time off, that he did do nothing wrong, but he's going to take time off. So a statement came out. I'm going to read to you because this is so powerful. I can't even explain to you these statements, and that's why I want to read them to you for those of you who didn't see them. This is a statement from former staffers of Congressman Eric Swalwell. So these are right after this broke. These are a bunch of former staffers that have worked for Eric Swalwell over the years. They put out a statement. We, the undersigned former staffers of Congressman Eric Swalwell, write today with heavy hearts and unwavering resolve. The allegations reported by the San Francisco Chronicle and CNN are serious. They are credible and demand accountability. We stand unequivocally with our colleague who showed extraordinary courage in coming forward to share her truth. We believe her. What has been described is not a political attack. It is an account of a young woman who trusted her employer, who was targeted and exploited by someone in a position of power over her, and who has carried this burden for years. The corroboration reported by both outlets, included in medical records and multiple witnesses, makes it very clear that this cannot be dismissed or deflected. No statement, no cease and desist letter, no claim of political motivation changes what our colleague experienced. So we call on all relevant law enforcement authorities to open a full and thorough investigation into the allegations against Congressman Swalwell without delay. No one is above the law. Not a congressman, not a candidate for governor, no one. We further call on Congressman Swalwell to immediately withdraw from California gubernatorial race and to resign his seat in the United States Congress. The people of California's 14th congressional district and the people of this country deserve a representation from someone whose conduct reflects the values of public service, remaining in either role while these allegations hang unresolved, and is an insult to every person who has ever worked for him, reported to him, or placed their trust in him. To our colleague, we want to let you know you are not alone, that we see you, we stand with you. We are deeply sorry that we did not know what you were enduring. And we carry the weight of that with us because you bravely, in speaking out, has given voice to what many victims have feared to say. And we are grateful for your courage. We are appalled by his actions and stand firmly with you and every victim who has come forward. Justice is not optional. Accountability is not negotiable. And we will not be silent. Folks, that was not one person writing that. That was over 15 staffers. Over 15 ex-staffers that came out. Not one came out in support. So when people, and this was a letter that came out literally 3 days ago. 3 days ago, right after Swalwell came out and said, and even after that, people came out and still tried to support him, tried to say that, this was some sort of a setup, that, and what pissed me off after this, folks, and this is why, I'm more pissed off at people still in Congress, because you had people in Congress come out and play the game. I'm not going to call out them by name yet because, but soon I will. You had people come out and play the game where telling him to resign from his governor's race, but not his seat in Congress. They were playing that game. They would go on the morning shows on Sunday. I watched them. I watched them play make those stupid faces and say, "Oh, I'm not aware of the situation. I haven't been brought up to date." Really? You haven't been brought up to date? You guys are all liars. The whole world knows what's been. You're telling me you don't know the accusations of him? You don't know what's happening? So the response is that he should immediately resign from his run for Congress, but we'll let the ethics committee do their job and go through and and see what the findings are. Really, really, that's why he did what he did for so many years. And you know what the most disgusting part is, folks? See, it's one thing, Donald Trump, and I don't know what's worse, but I mean, it really Swalwell really gets to me. You know why? Because at least with Trump, he's garbage. You know what you're expecting. He doesn't come out there and pretend that he's fighting for women's rights. He doesn't go out there pretending that, he comes out there and tells you he's nasty. Swalwell. I sat back these past couple of days because of watching people, and I went back and watched, the Kavanaugh hearings, how he was, because I was part of Mega at the time. I watched how he spoke out during the Epstein files just recently. He had the nerve to invite an Epstein survivor to Congress, playing that role. But it wasn't only him, folks. Think about how many enablers that were close to him that knew, that heard, that listened, that saw. You're going to tell me in 17 years being on the Hill, you're going to tell me that nobody looked the other way? And it's not just Swalwell. I don't want to keep just harping on him because, yes, he's in the news, but it's Gonzalez. It doesn't matter. It's all of them. In Swalwell's name, it doesn't matter. That is why Trump is allowed to get away with it. And Trump knows that. That is why they play the game. Just think about. That's why we need to say enough is enough. That's why we're putting our campaign together. That is why we are going to make sure our voices are going to be heard. We are going to shut down Congress. We are going to shut down the White House. We're going to do it in a good and proper way. Like a very important man once said, may he rest in peace. We're going to cause some good trouble. Do you understand what I mean, folks? And that's one of the things that I ask each and every one of you right now. If you haven't yet, make sure to go. It's called Calls for Congress, CALSS. I mean CALS Congress, Calls for Congress at proton.me. Because yesterday I put down Call for Congress, but it's Calls for Congress, proton.me. Register your email so you could get on the emailing list, so we could get you the information, so each and every one of you could make the phone calls and do your part, because it's enough is enough. And it's not just about, we need to get back to, because just think of it, this thing that happened with Swalwell, this thing with Gonzalez, these things, it brings me back to thinking about, just in such a short period of time, in a little over a year, how much this Project 2025 group, how much this Donald Trump administration, how much this corruption of all of this have taken away so much from women. And yet here again we are watching women being questioned. Why did you report it now? Why did you wait 2 years? Why did you do this? We have to stop, folks. We sat through the Weinstein trial where people did that. We sat through Donald Trump's Jean Carroll trials and people did that. We see now with the Epstein files. Without women, there would be no US. I say first, I'm a man, but I stand up for women. I love women, and I think women should have the equal rights, and they should be, I think most women are even stronger than men. How about that one? And I'm one of those men that grew up in a world where women are more obedient to men. You could say it that way, because in the world of money, power, and it's just like that, because usually the men have the money, they have the power, and the women have to play along. But usually the women are the one that run the households. The women are the one behind the scenes. It's just that usually the men, we take the credit. And I was one of those men for a very long time. So I could tell you from firsthand experience how it is. And that's why I look up to my wife. She's my hero. She's so I could admit it, and I hope a lot of other men come out and start admitting it and start really understanding that, behind, that's why there's a saying, behind every good man, there's a good woman. So, I want everybody to understand that. So, this is not something we're going to take lightly. And that's why the Epstein files are so important to us. That is why, we keep talking about Michael Wolff, Michael Cohen. That is why Melania, right now, one of the things, that's happening this week that we're just getting started on is Melania Trump. But before we go on there, I want to just finish reading these two more responses, and then we're going to finish with the Swalwell. We're going into Melania because I think this led up to it today. So after that, Swalwell didn't respond, and then today we had another statement that came out from the senior staff. Because a lot of you might have been at work, you haven't seen it. So today, early in the morning, another statement came out from the senior staff of California's 14th congressional district and Eric Swalwell for governor. So the first letter I read to you folks was from his former staffers. There was about 14 or 15 of them that wrote. This is now a letter that was written, a statement from his current staffers that are right now either on his congressional staff or on his governor's staff, and they came out with the letter. And this is very important for you guys to read so you understand what's happening. So, quote, as leaders of teams working for Eric Swalwell, we're horrified by the recent reporting in the San Francisco Chronicle and by CNN. We stand with our former colleague and other women who have come forward. We believe you should stand with them too. The behavior detailed in these reports is abhorrent, beneath the dignity of those serving in public office, and betrays the trust of all Californians. We also understand that we lead teams who need guidance and stability now more than ever. So we are focused on supporting our colleagues during this challenging time. Any decision of staff members to remain in their roles in the interim should not be viewed as any support for Eric Swalwell. Because we recognize not everyone, in particular our junior staff, can immediately forfeit their income, their benefits, without significant personal risk or consequence. Our responsibility now is to them. We are more than he. Understand, we have obligations to the people we lead and to the constituents of California's 14th congressional district. Those of us that remain on staff do so for the sole purpose of ensuring that as many of those obligations are fulfilled as possible. Senior staff of California's 14th congressional district, senior staff Eric Swalwell for governor. Those are the true heroes, folks. Those are real true heroes. They didn't doubt, they didn't question, they didn't ask. They came out, they stood strong, and they came out and answered. Even Eric Swalwell couldn't do that. So I'm going to end off on that with Eric Swalwell for now. And then we're going to continue more about as things break. We'll watch it, but enough beating a dead horse. It's something that is, we know what we to do, and there needs to be accountability. There's criminal investigations that are, I'm hearing they're opening up. That's right, Susan. Why does no one get arrested? They just leave office. Well, I think it's going to be a little bit different here. I think there are criminal investigations open up, and I think there should be more criminal investigations inside of Congress. I think they're the protection. I think what's happening with the Epstein files is the same thing happening in our halls of Congress, folks. I think there's a lot of secrets, a lot of hidden stories, and it's time for we need to clean house, because just think about how we're being lied to. Because this is not just about one story, folks. If you could think about, I want you to think about this for a second and stop, because I know I said I'm going to get off this, but when we talk about Epstein and how long it took and how many abusers we had. If he was stopped in 2008, think about how many young girls, how many wouldn't have been trafficked, how many uh, girls would have been saved. Now let's take a look about Eric Swalwell. Folks, he's been in Congress for 17 years. 17 years. We've, I have been hearing first that he had an affair with a Chinese spy. Remember that one? And the Democrats looked the other way. Just think about that. Because I remember I was part of Mega at the time. And we had so much information on Eric Swalwell, and it was amazing to watch how the Democrats just covered it all up, just like they did with Michael Cohen, just like they did with Michael Wolff. Until, so when we sit here and we just talk about, the people, we have to also look at the enablers. Look at Hakeem Jeffries. Hakeem Jeffries came out the past couple of days. He did not come out and say he needs to resign right now. He said he needs to stop his run for Congress. Same thing with Adam Schiff. Same thing with Ruben Gallegos. Yeah, they think that absolves them because, just because they said, we came out and we said to run for. No, but you didn't tell them that. I don't hear any of you saying that we need a criminal investigation. I don't hear you guys coming out and saying any of that stuff. So that's what I'm saying to you. We need to clean house, and we're going to clean house. Believe me when I tell you this. This is not going away. This is just the beginning. And when I tell you there are more people that are coming out, and Swalwell is not the only one. There are others in there, and and also you have to keep in mind some of these things might not be criminal, but they're still not moral. And people that are serving the public and are there to represent their constituents don't only have a criminal more, they have also a moral obligation to everybody. So when we talk about, when they try to play the line and saying, well, she's not a child, she's 21 years old. No, you are still powerful. You're a congressman, she's an intern, and you're overseeing it. And yes, it might be a different charge. It might not be pedophilia, it might not be that, but it's still wrong. It's still morally wrong. That's why there's even clauses today. You go if you that when you work in big corporations, that you're not allowed to have a relationship with the boss because it's morally wrong, because then decision making, you have to, and if you do have it, you have to say something about that. So the fact that has been covering up for so long, and to make matters worse, the fact that you are the loudest voice out there talking about accountability. When I saw his statements during the Kavanaugh trials, when I saw, him coming out during the Epstein stuff, knowing that right after you come out on TV, you make that statement, and then you go get in a car with your young intern, and then you take your pants off. Really, dude? So I hope for all of you out there, that doubted or tried to, I hope it's maybe this is the last time and the last lesson all of you need to learn, that enough is enough. That when women come out and say, we need to start believing, and again, I don't say this because yes, there are instances out there where some people do it and are not, but those are so slim most of the time. When somebody comes out and says I was raped, or somebody comes out, and especially more than one, especially when you have corroborating evidence of more than one, if I mean that's already a pattern. So what I'm saying, we have to, and I hope this is is going to turn everybody into and unify us maybe together, because this should unify us. This shouldn't be a partisan issue. This should be a bipartisan issue. This way we should all want to make sure that we could clear Congress, that this good old boys club stops. Because just think about how long it took women to get even into Congress. It's been a good old boys club for a while. I'll never forget how my wife said to me, you don't belong there because it's a good old boys club and that you don't belong in. And so think about if that we I don't belong, and think about how many women don't don't feel like they belong. That's why you even have people on the right, like the mega cohorts like Nancy Mace out there screaming her head off, also because they know they know the toxic environment that's going on up on the hill over there. So I wanted to make sure that we all spoke about that, and we're only getting starting on that. But let's talk about make sure we get into a lot of, because we have a lot of other stuff to go into. So uh, let me get put on my notes here for you guys. I apologize. I'm a little bit today, just a lot going on and a lot happening. So I want to, make sure I get you caught up on everything. Also, last night, Donald Trump had a major, major meltdown. That meltdown, folks, was I I spoke to somebody today. Even some people close in the White House couldn't believe that he was texting. I want to go over basically this layout of what Donald Trump spent his night on, and then we're going to go into it because it's absurd. Because Donald Trump has now also picked a fight with the Pope. If you guys, I'm sure everybody's known that, and he's doubling down on it. He's not planning on to apologize to the Pope. Thank you so much, Maria from Ireland. I can't wait to visit Ireland and some of these places where all of you guys are, and because as soon as I'm off, I get out of Congress and off probation, I will going to be visiting Harry. I'm this, by the way, Kimmy. I'm actually Harry Sison is. I was going to give him the credit because I was literally just going to read off. He posted. Harry Sison did an incredible post today of Donald Trump's mental state of mind, starting at 9:49, folks, till 4:10 a.m. So just think about from 10 o'clock at night till 4 o'clock in the morning. Donald Trump was on Truth Social and posting stuff, and it wasn't posting normal stuff. And we're going to get into some of the stuff he was posting. Because I can't wait to come to Canada. Dean Blundell is making it for so I could come to Canada, and I'm going to come visit Canada. Love it. I will definitely. I don't drink, but I will definitely have a Guinness when I come to Ireland. I promise you. Even though I don't drink, but I'll definitely have a Guinness. Okay, so here we go. Trump's mental breakdown with the help of Harry, which he did a great job. 9:49. Donald Trump puts up a picture, AI picture of himself being portrayed as Jesus Christ. Now that picture is now gone because Donald Trump got so much backslash from his own. I mean, he didn't even know what to do with himself. What's it called? Aaron thinks he's sunbathing today. Aaron, I can't wait. I'm gonna go see Aaron actually in DC. I can't wait to go meet my granddaughter. See her again, and Aaron and his wife. The whole family's going this time. So. uh, Guinness zero is really good. Okay, ask good. I'll do Guinness zero. I love you guys. I'm sorry, but We're gonna do. By the way, for those of you that didn't get a chance to join us, so we had an incredible yesterday chat Q&A for paid subscribers. And we're gonna do at least 3 of them a week, and I'm gonna do one on YouTube coming up. I'm just gonna figure out what entitles it. So, guys, we had over 300 paid subscribers yesterday on Substack, and we had an incredible conversation. I loved it. I hope you enjoyed it, and we're gonna do at least 3 a week. I'm gonna do more and more, and I'm also gonna do them on YouTube for our paid members. So if you haven't yet, please become a paid subscriber, paid member, because this new segment of us doing our Q&As together, brainstorming, we have some incredible people out there all over the world that are subscriber. I'm sorry if you missed it. I put it out earlier today. I sent an email out to all the paid subscribers and to all the subscribers to be able to chance to see it. If you missed it, definitely look in your email box. I sent it out. But also, I'm going to be scheduling them regularly, so this way you will know, just like we have our regular 7 p.m. show on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday with the Insider. I'm going to be doing them what's up for the Bay Area? Love the Bay Area. I'm going to be scheduling them so you guys will know and to be able to. For those of you that can't afford pay subscription, I don't want you to be feel bad about it because I do not have paywalls. All the information is more important for everybody. So the paid subscribers is basically they pay the bills, they allow us to continue doing this without paywalls, allow me to continue working. So I try to do certain things to give back to them, but it's in no way do I take away from the platform itself by making sure all of you get the information just like this. So that's why our 7 o'clock the shows will be there. Our lives are always for everybody, but the Q&As, the pay, that's a little special for the paid subscribers that allow us to be able to do it. So I just want you to understand that. But otherwise, it's the platform is for all subscribers. That's why I tell everybody cross pollinate, become a subscriber for free on our YouTube channel, on our Substack channel, because the algorithms allows us to be able to grow and become bigger and stronger. And then eventually, sometimes you could become a paid subscriber for 1 month or for a week, and there's a special for a year. And believe me, so Michelle, I don't want you to even feel bad. I'm also going to do a special coming up for those of you that are having problems with bills or pay. Well, I will do something special for you guys also because I understand times are hard and not everybody could afford to become a paid subscriber. So I'll think of something and I'll work on that and make sure so you don't feel left out because we are a whole family and for me each and every one of you matter because each and every one of you uh, you know are part of this family. That if can't become paid subscriber, you hit the like buttons, you follow, you bring more people on. Each and every one of us does our part, and that's why we are all together. So please, I hate even dealing with this. I wish I didn't even have to. I wish I could be for free. I would, because but unfortunately, this is my business, folks. This is what pays my bills, my family, and I have a big family, 7 kids. Some of them I don't have to take care of. Some of them could probably take care of me, like Aaron. Some of them, but I work. This is my full time thing, so that's why I appreciate for everybody that can become paid members, paid subscribers, and help so we could continue growing this platform. So this way, everybody could enjoy it. And like I said, I will continue doing great stuff for the paid subscribers, but also I will not ever forget all of my subscribers and I love you guys. Thank you so much. So but let's get back to the stuff with with the Harry size of Donald Trump. So at 9:49, he posted that Jesus video picture. If you guys have not seen it yet, he's already taken it down. And the crazy part about it is that when he was asked today about the picture, he didn't deny it. The psychopath basically said, "Yeah, I put it out there," but the fake media said I was Jesus. I was a doctor. Folks, if you saw that picture, he is not a doctor, nowhere near a doctor. I don't even know where he came up with that, but he's definitely losing it. And watching what happened last night, I could tell you, I'm thrilled because the pressure of what's happening with the Epstein files, the pressure with Iran, the fact that Orban lost yesterday, and I'm going to get to that, is incredible. So anyway, 9:50, a minute later he puts a picture of Trump Tower on the moon. 10:10, 20 minutes later, he put some sort of a dumb meme out there that he found from somebody. At 10:32, he puts out a news clip. At 10:53, he puts out another news clip. Then at 12:43 at night, he puts out a post announcing that he's gonna blockade the blockade. Think about that. At 12:43. Then at 2:35, can't forget his boy Joe Biden. He puts out an article about Joe Biden at 2:35 in the morning. I mean, folks, think about that. Here you are, we're at war. I mean, you have Epstein. Your wife is going on camera saying she has nothing to do with Epstein. You have people at your doors and you put out an article about Biden at 2:35 in the morning. Just think about the psychopathic, narcissistic what's going on in that brain. And this is why I say the enablers. How, like, this is insane. But then he goes at 2:36 in the morning, a minute later, right after he puts an article out about Biden, he then puts out an article about now the media writing about his naval blockade. So he puts out an article about the naval blockade a minute after he puts out Biden. Then a minute after that, at 2:37, he puts out an article about Swalwell. Then literally right after that, still at 2:37 in the morning, he reposts the same article about Biden again that he posted 2 minutes before that. And then to top it off, at 2:38, he posts an article about his beautiful ballroom. No, folks, not making this up. No, I wish I was, because this is, like I said, when they make movies about this, folks, when they people won't believe this. I mean, the next generations are gonna say that we were crazy. There, I can't imagine what our grandkids or our great grandkids are gonna say. What happened? How did they? What happened? How did they elect him? Not once, but twice. Think about that. Think about it. We elected this guy twice. So I say we, not me, but I'm saying to you, he. And then to top it all off, folks, at 4:10 a.m. At 4:10 a.m. He puts an article out about Iran. Now that is a person that's not sleeping well, folks. This is a person that is not having a good night's sleep. This is a person that is having problems. And if you could think about that, and all those things, in the middle of all this, he posted about his ballroom. He posted about what's his name, Joe Biden. He does all of these things. Uh, Oh no, Trump wasn't praising. I didn't say he posted. He was. I said he maybe misunderstood. Trump was not praising Swalwell. Trump was posting about Swalwell. Trump was going after Swalwell. He was not praising Swalwell at all. No, 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 no. Trump hates Swalwell with a passion. I think Swalwell is in for a lot of problems, because I think now that especially with Trump's DOJ, no, 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 trust me when I tell you, Trump was not praising Swalwell. If I said that, I apologize. Trump posted on his Truth Social about it. I just want to clear that up about Swalwell, and that was at I think that was at 2:37 in the morning. He posted an article about Swalwell, but he definitely is not well. He's definitely getting, I want to tell you, I confirm that he keeps getting IV treatments. I'm not a doctor, don't know what those IV treatments are, but some of the, doctors out there have been saying that there's a special drug for dementia, and that is why he's also getting, MRI treatments. The fact that the dude literally, I can't even tell you, he ordered McDonald's today. Yes, it was, his even that failed. If you guys didn't see that, I'm gonna put that in a letter later to show you, because he's really something. So he gets they said it's all a setup, because it's all theatrics. So Donald Trump is now, a big fan of McDonald's. Obviously, we all know that. But Donald Trump also is trying to push, the no tax on tips, right? So they get this. You saw that, right, Susan? How ridiculous they get. So they get a grandmother from Arkansas. From Arkansas. Not from Washington D.C. They get a grandmother from Arkansas to deliver while the media is waiting. Trump sitting in the Oval, and we have DoorDash, grandmas for DoorDash. She comes in. She's the poor lady. He took advantage, exactly, but she stood up to him. I'm going to give her props how she made him look like a fool. She knocks on the door. He comes out, grabs the McDonald's, and the first thing he tries to do, and this is where Trump, and this is how sick he is, how he takes advantage of people. The first thing he does is he tries to have her agree with him about all of a sudden having men and women sports. Now, folks, it's irrelevant if you agree or disagree about men and women's sports, but to have a grandma from Arkansas delivering Uber, McDonald's to Trump, and you turn around and you start going on a tirade about the Diet Coke is missing, probably right. But you go on the, but he has that button. Don't forget, he has that red button that he presses in the oval. Just think about it. He has an actual button to he presses when they bring him the Diet Coke. So it's so he turns around to her and he looks at her and he basically starts telling her, "Don't you agree?" And she's like, I'm just here for the no tips policy. No tips, no taxes on tips. and and I was he looked at her and he patted her on the back and then went into this whole thing, attacking the Pope, saying how the Pope, I mean, just think about the fact that, part of this whole thing that he's attacking the Pope, talking about how the Pope the Pope is against anti-violence. Yeah, the Pope's against anti-violence. The Pope's for peace. Like, I mean, he goes, the Pope is weak on criminal violence. The Pope doesn't agree with us on Iran. I mean, you can't make it up. And then he puts in the post that he likes the Pope's brother Louis better because Louis is MAGA. And I mean, here he is picking a fight with literally he put also in his tweet that the only reason he became the Pope, think about this one, the only reason he became the Pope is because he was American and because the Vatican, this you can't make up. I mean, this is completely, he put this in the post that because the Vatican wanted to have a better relationship with Trump's administration, so they chose to get an American Pope. so so the Pope is because of him, folks. I mean, everything is because of him. The Pope is literally because of him. I mean, you can't, I mean, you have to laugh a little bit about that. And yes, grandma outsmarted his demand to that. Octavia, I agree with you 100%. So his meltdown, his fight with the Pope, and then I'm going to give you some inside scoop to make matters worse. So Viktor Orban lost yesterday. For those of you seen, so two things happened. Very important with the Viktor Orban loss. First of all, Viktor Orban actually conceded. Not a day afterwards, not a year afterwards, not 2 weeks or 2 months. He literally conceded, right? Within hours of count of it, and that was one of the things we were all worried about. I was actually worried about with some of my insiders. We were talking about saying, Trump didn't concede, wouldn't leave, Putin wouldn't leave. Why would Orban leave? Orban probably is going to, even if they lose, they're going to probably have, Orban's going to probably do something like Trump and say it was fake elections. Obviously had JD Vance there, and you had, so you have all of this conversation, and Orban basically made a phone call and succeeded and said, we lost, we're leaving. And the PM came out, the new PM came out right after and said, we're going to let bygones be bygones. So let me tell you what really happened inside. So Orban struck a deal closer to the elections. What I'm hearing basically, that Orban struck a deal and basically said that he wanted to be able to get a soft landing. And in return, he would give over fair and square elections, give over the reign, and not contest it like Trump wanted him to. When Trump found out, folks, Trump was pissed not that Orban lost. Trump was pissed that he conceded the election. Think about that. Nobody's going to tell you about this. This is what some of the things that why Trump was up so last night. That's why he was texting. This is why he's having a meltdown, because he couldn't believe his guy, Viktor Orban, his man, the guy that he went so hard for. He sent JD Vance to, on his behalf. He spoke, he went on, and talked about. Just think about all of these things, and he got creamed, slammed. The people came out in forces. And then Trump gets pissed off because he conceded. That's why you don't see Trump coming out talking about the election. You don't see Trump coming out saying one word. And that's what pisses me off even more. Where is the media on this? How come the media is asking him about McDonald's? How come the media won't ask him about the loss about his guy Viktor Orban? How come they don't ask him? This was a referendum against you, Donald Trump, in the whole world. You, the president of the United States, the most powerful country, couldn't even get him to elected. So that's your little intake of a Lev Insider on the Viktor Orban thing and Donald Trump. So I wanted to give you that. Nobody's talking about that, but I wanted you to know that. And Putin came out, was also pissed off because, just like Trump, Putin's pissed off about that also. And Putin basically now said that Hungary is an enemy of the state for Russia. So there no longer is Hungary friends with Russia anymore. So this is only going to get interesting because remember, Hungary depends on Russia for the gas and oil. So things are about to get very interesting in that region. So, but I wanted to let you know that Donald Trump and Putin were more upset that he agreed that he lost the election than he actually lost the election. This is the type of dictators and authoritarians that we are dealing with. Also, I want to talk to you about that nobody's talking about, but tomorrow is the 14th. The 14th is a big day. It was supposed to be a big day. It was supposed to be a bipartisan issue day. It was a day that the Attorney General Pam Bondi was supposed to come under subpoena and testify in front of Congress. I told you, folks, that's not going to happen. I told you that Pam Bondi is not going to testify in front of Congress. Even though you had all of these against Democrats run out there and say, no, she's gonna, we got her. And you had all these pundits on TV saying, no, they just have to fine tune the subpoena from, attorney general to general. They're going to get her in there. Well, folks, she is not in there. Just like I told you, James Comer did not subpoena her. Today, they came out with the schedule, and she is not on a schedule to testify. No trajectory. It's not contempt because they took her off the schedule. So she's not in contempt. So I know, guys, this is not contempt, disbarment, obstruction, because they are not. It's not the White House, the Justice Department wrote a letter, and basically Congress is the oversight committee is not pushing it. This is where we are now. Now, will they push for contempt? Will they push for another hearing? First, they have to technically issue another subpoena, what I'm hearing, for her in a personal capacity, not as the attorney general, which she no longer is. And this is the one of the reasons why Trump did what he did, because when everybody said, "Oh, he's turning on Pam Bondi," no, folks, no, what he wasn't turning on Pam Bondi, because I'm going to give you some breaking news that nobody's talking about. You're going to be the first ones to hear it here. So, and we're going to end off our inside report because we have a lot more coming out Wednesday. So make sure tomorrow. First of all, tomorrow we have our voice from Ukraine with Ken Harbaugh at 2 o'clock and Alexander. Make sure you guys don't want to. But let me tell you before I finish off with our schedule for the week. So I've been speaking to some some of my close associates on the inside, and this past weekend, working on this whole Pam Bondi thing, working on the Epstein stuff. One of the things that we're talking about is we're trying to get Amanda Ungaro, the lady that is basically going after right now Melania and Trump and Zamboli's Commonwealth wife. For those of you that have been listening, know the story. This is what we're hearing about. That's going to be coming out this week more and more. With that said, Trump is not letting go of the Epstein files, folks. So the plan that is in motion right now is Bondi was the scapegoat. She was let out to pasture because he had somebody in the background that will take over, and that's Todd Blanche. Todd Blanche right now is in there for 210 days. But this is where it gets interesting. Todd Blanche is auditioning because Blanche wants to stay and become the attorney general after the 210 days. But yesterday, something really interesting happened. I got a call, and somebody sent me a video that was at a Trump International Golf Course. And in the video, it was Donald Trump sitting down and having lunch with Ron DeSantis and Casey DeSantis. And the conversation was interesting, folks. What I'm hearing is that Ron DeSantis made a full out blitz and pitched Donald Trump to become the next attorney general. And Donald Trump liked the idea. Now, this, folks, is some scary shit. And this, folks, is that's why one of the things when I get to Washington, I'm going to be talking about is because DeSantis is a lot more dangerous than Todd Blanche, and he's a lot more dangerous than Pam Bondi. Because and I know DeSantis very well because I remember I'm the one that introduced him. DeSantis, exactly. It's like the devils of Florida. Everything out of Florida is coming out. DeSantis is somebody that, if you see what he did in Florida with his own initiative, Trump didn't even have to ask him. Some of the things that I'm hearing is that he's basically promised Trump that he will go after all of his list of people that he wants to get revenge on. And he promised him that he would also shut down the Epstein files. And that reminds me of how we started this conversation. It goes back to Bill Barr. When Bill Barr was put into office, it was to get rid of the Mueller report. Now, fast forwarded, Donald Trump is trying to find that next AG to put into office to get rid of the Epstein report. So I hope we learned our lesson in history because he got away with the Mueller report. I'm not proud to say, but I was there with him when he did it. I was there officially part of his legal team with Rudy and his other lawyers. So I promise you that I will make sure everything that I have when I go to Congress and when before even I become a Congress. Yep, they're all in the loop. You remember the shirts? You just remind me you should go to levremembers.com for all of you. And today we grabbed they're all in the loop. We got they're all in the loop t-shirts there. And I gotta definitely let you know, make sure if you haven't yet, go to levremembers.com, grab your copy of Shadow Diplomacy. It's going to play out and you're going to see everything that full circle, all the names, all the players. It's going to connect the dots to you. Ron DeSantis, they're all in there. They were all part of it. They all started in 2015, 16. It's been 10 years already, folks. This whole cabal has been going on for 10 years, running our government, running our country, running our people. And it's all coming down here, and it all comes from Florida. It all comes from you. So trust me when I tell you. And also, we're going to be as part of our Q&A. Part of it is going to be story time with Lev. You know, you guys picking the chapters, reading chapters together, asking questions, going into details that nobody knows or heard. Because remember, I lived with them. There's so many things that, those of you that seen my documentary or read the book is not even like a tenth of the stuff that, the documentary originally was supposed to be 6 to 8 parts, folks. We have over 500 hours, I think, of recordings they did. I don't even know how many, what's it called. And when MSNBC bought it, they wanted it to be cut down into a 2-hour feature documentary because Netflix and Hulu and all of them got scared and now, stopped dealing with Donald Trump. So believe me when I tell you, I have so much more information that we're going to get. I just don't get, I'll read out, Okay, I'll read out your message. Who is this? Tree. Hold on a second. Uh, Somebody said read out my message. Oh, I missed it. How do I get it back here? Put it up there again, and I'll read it out, guys. I didn't see it. Put up the message, and I'll read it out again there. But what I was saying to you is, I just have so much more information and that I'm going to share and that we're going to get out, and we're going to use that also not only to save our democracy, not only to be able, but when I get into Congress, and I'm going to get into Congress, we're going to win. I wouldn't run if I didn't think we were going to win. And when I get into Congress, I promise you, uh, all of this stuff, is going to. A lot of people are going to be upset because enough is enough. Enough is enough with the corruption. Enough taking this foreign money. Enough is enough with the lies and deception to the American public, and most of all, enough is enough abuse of women, abuse of kids, abuse of children. Enough is enough. It's time for accountability. It's time for justice. So I ask each and every one of you to make sure you hit those like buttons, smash it, because that's what we stand for at Love Remembers. That's what we do here. Each and every one of you, you're part of the wolf pack. Each and every one of you, our community here, you don't just come here to listen to the information, because this is not a news source. There's plenty of news sources out there. My son, I'm going to promote him. He's the best news source out there, and other independent journalists that do great work. But I'm not an independent journalist. This platform is different. This platform is an insider's perspective. This platform, it brings breaking news and information that these journalists follow and then break news on. That's why I need your help to spread the information, because the bigger, the louder we'll get, the more we will be able and quicker get our accountability. And the first step to it is, please, if you haven't yet, go to calls, CALLS, that's calls for Congress at proton.me. This week we are starting our movement. We are starting our protest. We are starting our march. It's a virtual march, but it's going to be every day, and we're going to use our voices. We're going to use our voices that to be able to fight till I'm strong, and to be able to get demands, because we're not just going to protest. We're going to have a demand with every protest. And until our demand is met, we're not going to stop flooding your phones. We're not going to stop flooding your emails, and everybody could participate. It doesn't matter if you're in Canada, if you're in Australia, if you're in the UK, everybody could participate. This is just like the No Kings rally. This is the same thing. Enough is enough. We're going to flood your lines. This is the same thing, folks. The only difference, you could do it from your home, you could do it from your car, you could do it from at work, at lunch. And we're going to make it as easy as possible, because once you register your email for calls for congress.com, you will get an email from our team. You're going to get an email from our team every Sunday with a list of different Congress people, or the same, depending if they and our demand. And all you got to do is click and paste. We will give you the phone numbers. We will give you all the information. We will do all the work for you. All we need you to do is be consistent. Take that second, just like I tell you to do it here on our YouTube and on our Substack. Hit the like buttons, hit the restack buttons. All of those things are free. We sometimes forget. I do it myself. You know how many times I kick myself? I read your comments and I don't hit like on them, and then I stop and I go back. I said, "What did I just do? I just spent hours reading all these comments, sometimes crying, watching, loving them, and I don't do so." I have to do the same thing, just like I tell you, because I read your comments and I'm going to start liking, restacking them. I want you to do the same thing. Uh, can I post a link? Sure. Can somebody on YouTube post a link, please, for me? Because I don't know. Let me try. Hold on. Let me see. I think I could do it. Let me get into chat. Let me see if I could. Uh, Hold on a second. Let me see if I could. Uh, Show con. Oh, okay, let me. Oh, yeah, let's see if this work calls. I got here it comes. Let's see if that works. There you go. It's in the chat. All right, perfect. So, yeah, I got my. I'm starting to get a lot better on these. So, okay, folks. So make sure, yes, we go for calls for Congress at proton.me. Register. Make sure Nick is going to be helping me. Another by next week, I think Nick's going to be already on board, and it's going to get. I promise you, the experience is going to be incredible because once I don't have to do all of this myself, and I could just concentrate on getting you the information and having somebody also give you visual so you could see here, and I don't have to. I promise you, you're not even ready for it. So that's why we're only getting bigger, better, and stronger. And the content, the information, there's no platform out there. And I'm not saying to brag. I'm not saying that. I'm telling you because you are part of an important family. So I love you guys. Go out there and share it with everybody. And remember, tomorrow at 2 p.m., we set your reminders. We're gonna have Voice from Ukraine with Alexander and Ken Harbaugh. We're gonna go talk about everything to do with the elections that are happening overseas, the fallout, what's happening in Russia, Viktor Orban, Ukraine, and Iran. All of that. Make sure that's 2 p.m. And then I think we have a 3 p.m. tomorrow special with Jessica Danson. I'm not sure, but I will give you guys the schedule tomorrow morning once it comes out. And then don't forget every like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 7 p.m. Right here, same Lev channel, same Lev time. I will be here to give you an inside perspective, not only on the news, but everything that's coming out that we've heard about. And also, I will be coming out with a schedule for you for the paid members and paid subscribers. So we have our Q&As that we could do. So you guys could tomorrow, that's right, 2 p.m. Eastern. Every Tuesday and Thursday is our Voice from Ukraine at 2 p.m. Eastern on YouTube and on Substack Live. And every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, both on YouTube and Substack Live, is our insider report. So those you could make that schedule, and we will add to the schedule other, our paid subscriber specials and also the lives. But I tell everybody to set your remind. Also, make sure you have your notifications on because during the day I also go live a lot of times. I also, because whenever there's breaking news, whenever there's something happening, and I try to make sure that all the platforms get it. So definitely keep your notifications on as far as that goes. But with that said, I want to wish you guys an incredible evening. For those of you that are home, enjoy your dinner. For those of you that are just getting home on the West Coast, get some relaxation time. I hope I was able to get you caught up to speed on all of the breaking news. And I will see you tomorrow with a lot more. But in the meantime, like I said, keep smashing those hearts, keep re-smashing it. And the number one thing is we have to go out there and make our voices be heard. Enough is enough, folks. Enough is enough. I love you guys. Have a great night. Take care.